What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Talking Markets. My name is Trevor, and I'm here joined with Brian. Brian, how are you doing?
Doing great, Trevor. Great to be here. And I'm looking forward to talking about the volatile week where we topped on the 20th and it's kind of been choppy water since.
Yeah, awesome. So today I'll just run down some of the top headlines, and then Brian will take us a little bit further into some analysis. So first things first, I wanted to talk about this was Dogecoin Cardano lead crypto dip as market sheds $27 billion overnight. So the current market cap is actually sitting still above $1 trillion. And it wasn't below 1 trillion until actually back on the 20th. So will it go back down to that? We'll have to see. Next thing I wanted to talk about was just this real quick was digital currency group owned crypto exchange Luno has cut 35% of their staff. So around 330 jobs have been cut from this company that was owned by DCG. And next, I wanted to talk about this was BlockFi uncensored financials reportedly shows $1.2 billion in FTX exposure. So bankrupt crypto lending firm BlockFi has reportedly uploaded uncensored financials by mistake, revealing $1.2 billion in assets tied up with the bankrupt exchange FTX.
Crazy stuff.
So so more top headlines for that. And then next, for just everyone out there, something to keep an eye on is the next FOMC meeting is going to be held on the 31st to February 1st. And Brian, can you show us maybe a little bit about uh, the SPY compared with the price of Bitcoin and just seeing if, there's correlation with those assets?
Absolutely. Yeah. The topic of the FOMC meeting coming up is very relevant to this because if crypto is very tied to what equities are doing, as they have been for the past year, um, we may continue to see a big rise if stocks go up and a big drop if stocks go down. And ultimately, most people in crypto are hoping to see very little reliance between crypto and uh, real equities out there because most bull markets in crypto have occurred when there is almost zero correlation, not an anti-correlation, not a very true parallel correlation, just none. And we've seen hints of that. For the most of the past year, the S&P and Bitcoin were doing very similar patterns here. You can see how it fluctuated all through July, August, September, very close together. And then all of a sudden we had the FTX implosion. And that was the point in which, for the first time, really, since the all-time highs, really, in 2021, we saw a reason for stocks to not be impacted by some news and crypto to be very impacted. Um, Obviously, Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, one of the largest exchanges, uh, essentially imploded, and all of the money for over 5 million traders at least um, went up into smoke. And that allowed the S&P to go on its normal trajectory regardless of that news, while Bitcoin took this huge hit downward. We had Bitcoin kind of suppressed for a while. Eventually it had a little rebound, then dropped again along with the S&P. This is where they started to connect once again, following about a month of them doing their own things. And then we had this big run up about 2 weeks ago where Bitcoin and Ethereum just went on a surge. Obviously, many altcoins did as well. But the S&P really wasn't doing anything that special. It did bounce up a little, but to say that this was, a parallel correlation between the two would just be false. And I think it's a good sign that Bitcoin and Ethereum are still kind of doing their thing without seeing the same impact from the equities markets that we saw 6 to 12 months ago. So a good sign there. You also mentioned Doge. I wanted to take a quick look at a few quick metrics for you. Um, Obviously, trading volume has stayed low, and this isn't the case for all altcoins. We've seen big upticks in a few cases, but for Doge, even with this run since December 30th, it's up about 24% over the last 3 to 4 weeks, but trading volume and transaction volume are staying pretty suppressed. We'd want to see a big uptick, sort of like what we saw here on the trading volume end, as there was this huge run in October of 2022. Right now, no signs of that. We're also not really seeing anything great daily active address wise or circulation wise. MVRV, average trading returns, are just slightly above average, meaning there's just a slight increase in risk compared to the historical average right now by opening a position in Dogecoin. Funding rates are flat. Whale transactions are low. Whale addresses, there doesn't seem to be any significant accumulation. So, lastly, social dominance is also not seeing any significant spikes. We saw this one here on January 1st. This would have been a great bottom signal as we saw a huge increase in social dominance on Doge all of a sudden. And these are basically price turnaround signals, just like this one, which was a top signal because prices were going up. And so there was a lot of FOMO at this time. This was more FUD. So right now we'll wait for an extreme, whether Doge goes way up or way down compared to the rest of the markets, and then see if a social dominance spike comes with that to signify a turnaround. And last but not least, Trevor and I were talking before this call about some of the development activity metrics that are out there. And we recently put out a post that showed the top 10 most developing assets according to notable GitHub activity. This includes actual activity related to innovation, improvements to the blockchain technology that particular asset provides for the crypto community. And right now, the top 10 are Polkadot, Kusama, Cardano, Decentraland, Status, Cosmos, Filecoin, Internet Computer, Ethereum, and Concordium in that order. You can also take a look at this article when you get a chance. Just go on Medium and type in Santiment GitHub and it'll pop right up. And we talk about the 3 big gems when it comes to an asset that has good development activity. This generally means that these teams believe the project will be successful, the project is shipping more features, and most importantly, there's less probability the project is just an exit scam because you have an active team that is actually putting out new innovations and submitting improvements for their project. So wanted to point that out. Any follow-up questions, let us know. But yeah, I think that wraps up this call. Trevor, any final words?
No, that's all I got. I think you wrapped it up the best there. So thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks as always, Trevor. Talk to you next week.